Now that's my kind of Christmas decor. Keep watching. I'm Brandy, and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome. We have arrived at Subscriber Appreciation Month. I want you to take a screenshot, calls, whatever you need to do to read these instructions and hop on board. And to hear the magic word in this video, you're going to have to listen all the way through. The first project is the Winter Countryside Plaque. I have this piece. I had a twin I used on another project, and I am going to be using this one today. It is like a resin material, and it's actually like a wall hanging, I do believe. I've got some, it's paint, but it's supposed to be like a chalk paste, I think. The little tools that you use with it. And then I bought this beautiful, beautiful sort of a stencil from TEMU. And that's where I got the paint from as well. We're going to give it a shot today. And then I have this round. I've used it before and I'm going to use it again. It looks like something that possibly came from Target at some point. I'm going to remove the jute and take off the tag from the back. And you can take your tag off any way you want to. If you don't have one, it's not even going to be a concern. I'll use a little ink black chalk paint to paint this entire thing. If you have anything left on here from maybe the last time you used it, go ahead and sand it. Get any glue off, any rough spots, make it very pretty. And then I'll just wipe away any residue with a clean dry cloth. And then put a good coat of this black paint all over this plaque. You could also paint the back if you wanted to, but I'm not going to worry about it. I took off the tag, so it's fine. I'm just using my tool here to dry mine. It makes it a lot quicker when doing projects. Now it's dry. We're going to set it aside. I'm going to grab a towel because when you do a screen stencil, from what I understand, you want to kind of use a towel or something underneath it first. So it makes it a little easier when you peel it off. And by the way, since I've done this, I have taken this, washed it in the bathroom, and it is sticky again. So no problems as far as that goes. I can definitely use this stencil again. And it is beautiful. It's like a country, vintage looking, winter type of a situation. I think is really pretty for Christmas. It makes me think of that song, Winter Wonderland. Of course, the Elvis version. I mean, come on. It's got to be the Elvis version of it. I'm just going to put it on here where it looks like it's centered and then press it down with my fingers. Kind of going around, making sure that all of the open areas are nice and flat. You can also use like a flexible squeegee, I think would probably work on here too. I wouldn't want to use anything that would break your little intricate pieces off. So I mixed the paint a little. You can see it's kind of thin. It's almost like school glue. So then I was like, oh boy, I found the first dud from TEMU. But I kept going. I persevered. I'm just going to scoop a little bit out. I've never done a screen type of a stencil before, or I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. But I've never done it before, and I thought, we're going to try. We're going to experiment and give it a shot, and we'll just wash it off if it doesn't work. So that's what you see me doing here. I scooped a little bit out, and now I'm just going to make sure that all of the little open areas are covered with paint. And then once I get every little hole or opening together, I'm just going to take the excess off and put it back in the little jar. So far, so good, because I can't see the cutouts of the stencil underneath the paint. So I think that's definitely a plus. I think the benefit of a true chalk paste would be that it would dry faster, maybe be a little more opaque. But look how pretty this is. And there's only one little area in the middle of one tree that has sort of like a little blurry look. But I think that was a user error because I had a slight bubble in there that I didn't get all the way out. So it probably allowed it to go underneath the edge. So that's, I think, my fault. But I love the black and the white together. I just wiped off where I bumped it a little bit with the white paint. I'm going to take my black chalk paint. And if you like this just like it is, leave it like it is. But I'm always going to show you on my channel that we have options. All right, so we're pushing that paint up into the bristles. I don't want any large clumps or wet areas in the brush. I want it to be pushed up. And then I'm just going to go over it with the black. You could paint this completely white if you wanted to. You could leave it that brassy looking color. You could do gold. You could do silver, hammered silver. However you want to do it. But because I'm always encouraging you on this channel to make it your own, just want to show you how you can do it a little different. By the way, if you're enjoying the content so far, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. It helps the channel grow and lets YouTube know that I'm putting out some worthy material for people here, that there is actually interest in my work here. And yeah, when you help my channel, you in turn help me and my children. So I thank you very much for that. Now, once I get it sort of dry brushed on there as heavy as I would like it, I'm going to go over it with my heating tool to put the next layer of paint on here. Now, this is rich espresso, and I am going to be putting this on here because this looks like an old bronzy color to me. It always has, and so I like to use it that way. I'm going over some of the leaves in here. There are leaves, and it looks like some type of a pod, bows, like a vine in there. There's a bunch of different things in this ornamental piece, and I'm just going to go over and do some of the things that are similar in the bronze to just make it stand out a little bit, make it a little different, right? I'm making it my own. And whatever brought you to my channel today, I thank you so much for stopping by and for giving me the time of day. I know it's hard for me to keep up sometimes with my 2 videos a week, and then I'm behind on my other channel, so I'm trying. You know, I'm gonna keep the fire going here. All right, so I'm gonna go along here and get my head in the way. Very important step. It's not gonna be the same if you don't do that, so just be sure you don't skip that step. And then I'm gonna go through with my bronze, and there's a rope underneath the bow, like a tassel, so I'm just going over that with the bronze as well because I kind of wanted it to stand out. And I like the way this looks. Now, just to me, I like the way this looks. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. You could also use some type of an antiquing wax. You can use a white wax, whatever you like. I'll take that same color there and go over the black. On the edge of this, there's a flat spot, and then it curves. There's a curved area that raises up a little bit. I obviously don't know my architectural words, but you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go all over it with this bronze, or the espresso, excuse me, all the way around it. And then I'll be sure that I get the sides of it as well, because that was all black, all colored black. It sticks so good to that chalk paint. All right, so I'm going to add a little more here. And I'm going to take this flat chalk brush and put a stripe on here. I'm doing this because I would like to lay a flat stripe only on the top of this raised curled edge. And I can do that if I keep the brush nice and flat. I can just turn the plaque and keep that flat, and it will put a beautifully painted even edge all the way around that rounded lip. I don't know what made me think to do it this way, but hey, it turned out great, and I love that. Just gonna go around, and I just go over it one time, just around once, and then I'll just make sure that I have it all even all the way around, go back over it, you know, make sure everything's even out and there are no gaps in the color of the paint. And I love the way it looks like it has a double frame around it. I love that. Very nice. Now you can definitely tell that is a recessed piece. And we'll dry that part off. If you don't dry in between, you may end up bumping your edges and messing it up. So just, you know, whatever works best for you. Now I wanted to add this beautiful piece on the top of here. This will not be a hanging piece anymore after this point. It will be something we will use a plate holder, or, you know, you could use it to lean perhaps, but I'll show you how it's going to look with the plate holder shortly, or a picture holder. Now I've decided I wanted to use some of my tape here. Y'all know about this tape. I've also linked it for you in the description box in case you want to purchase it. I'm just going to put some right in the top where I want it, and I'm just leaning it up a little bit to push it back down. And then once I get the two sides and then the back already has the piece on it, I can really center it up and press it down. I'll flip it over, and on the edges where it is touching the plaque, I'm just going to add some hot glue for a little bit of extra stability. We don't have a lot of touch points on the back to hold these together, but that tape really works well. So now I'm going over it, and when I tell you I'm dry brushing, it's truly dry brushed. It's barely any on there. I did a tiny bit of the bronze over the piece, and then a very, very sheer tiny amount on the black on top, just to sort of give it more of an aged look. And you can see that in the plaque over that beautiful print. You see there's a sleigh and horses and trees. Just a beautiful piece. Thank you to all of my channel members and supporters. You're the best. Special ornament cloche is next. So here's my special ornament that I found at the thrift store. Love this piece. I don't like the fact that it has iridescent glitter on the top, just not my thing. I'm going to use a little bit of aged copper and some bronze. This is actually called bronze. And I'm going to use a piece that I used for Christmas. I'm going to use this again this year for this Christmas. It is a plastic cloche, and you may have had something like this in your home. I think it originally came from Target. I'll start by taking the hanger off the top. It is screwed in, and generally when I find pieces of these ornaments like this, they are screwed in unless the top pops off. I'll take a kind of a soft but firm brush, if that makes any sense, and try to get some of that glitter off, but I'm telling you, they really had it in there. It was really in there. So I thought, well, we're just going to add another one of those layered paint looks on this, just like we did on the other one. We're just going to make it look old, and when I say old, I mean old. Don't be scared, y'all. We're going to put some black paint on here, okay? Now, if you have a hanger that the center of it goes all the way through, you can use the wired section of a piece of a floral pick that you no longer use. I save these because I use them all the time in other things. I'm just going to strip that off. And now I have a more narrow but sturdy piece that can hold this up if I want to use it. Just a touch of hot glue on there and that pick, and then I can hold it. So if you're not like me and you don't want to get your hands dirty and painted on, you could use this technique. But you know I don't care. I'm going to get my hands dirty because that's just how I do it. Now, I'm taking a brush and going down in every bit of the depressions in here. So we've got the raised areas that give us the dimension, and then you've got the lower areas where the shadows are. I am really going in there with that black paint to get this completely covered so none of the glitter shows, and so that every bit of the recessed areas will keep that black paint in there. So there's my top and bottom. I know which is which. I think it did a pretty good job there covering that. And now we want to bring our dimension back. So I'm going to start with my darkest color. Put it in the brush, push, push, push until it is up in the bristles. And then I'm going to brush in one direction all the way down. I'm not pushing specifically into the lower areas. The brush is sort of at a 45-degree angle. And I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go into the dark areas because I want those to continue to have that shaded look and that deeper look. So I'm holding it from the bottom to put on the darker color. Ooh, look how pretty. Oh my gosh, that looks like metal to me. I love that. Might not be your thing though, so you just go with your colors. This is a little drawer pull that I found at Goodwill, and I'm going to use this on the cloche. That same color I just used to dry brush on top of this ornament is the color that I put on the metal piece on that little drawer pull. Now I'm going to dry it so that my colors don't fuse. I want them individually to show I'm going to take a different brush that's clean and add in the bronze color, packing it in there. Then I'm going to flip the ornament upside down so it's sitting on the end and I'm holding the top, and I'll brush this one all in the other direction. When you do it like this, I discovered this on this ornament, you give it a two-toned look. You'll have more gold in one direction than you have in the other direction. It'll be bronzier. Do you see the difference? So now we got more of a gold, and there we have more of that darker. There's the lighter, there's the darker. Oh my gosh, obsessed. Obsessed with this look. I'm making more of these. Now, I don't have this particular ornament, but anything that I've got's got some texture on it. I'll be putting some more of these on my fall Christmas tree. Yes. Yes, I will. But you can do this with different colors. You could paint this like a copper, make your base color a copper, and then you can put like that aquamarine blue on there to make it look like that, like we did on the other set of ornaments. I'll try to link that video for y'all so you can see that one too, because I've got some other ideas about Christmas ornaments that might be helpful to you if you're interested in making something your own. I'm going to paint the whole thing black, the bottom, the whole thing. I'm going to take my glue gun, and the tip of it is hot. So right on the top of this plastic, it's not going to work on glass, but the plastic, if you push that tip down into the plastic, it will melt a hole into the top. You just have to kind of twist it a little bit and hold it there. You want to make sure that the diameter of that hole is going to be the size that your hanger or screw will fit through. I'm now taking, while that plastic is still kind of hot and malleable, I'm just taking my weeding tool and just kind of going around that hole to get that melted stuff out of the way before it dries and clogs the hole back up. If any is exceeding over the top, you just get a little something to sand it with, but don't sand off the sides, just the tip that needs to be removed. So here's the screw and here's the ornament. I'm going to snug the tip of that ornament all the way up to the top and then try to kind of hold it and put the screw back in it. And the size of that screw is the size of the diameter. In other words, it fits. The top of that screw will fit into the pull that I have. And that's important. You'll have to change your top if it doesn't work. It's got to be something that can actually fit in there if you want it to look like it is hanging inside of the cloche or inside of the little dome. And that's what I want. I want it to look like it's hanging in there. Look at that. You'll see it in a little bit. You'll see that it looks like it's actually hanging in there. It's just, I love it. I am adding a little bit of clear school glue. You can use a glue stick, whatever you want, and just putting a little round that I cut out of some scrap black fabric. And that's going to be my base. I decided to do that because I had some damage on it from before when I pulled the foam off of it. So I just covered it up with this. Gonna let it dry. Then I'm gonna start dry brushing over the pedestal or the base of this cloche. I'm using the same colors that I used before, and I'm just gonna start building the color on here in the layers. When you do this and your paint is dry in between, you're gonna be able to see a lot of dimension. It's not like iridescent, but it's very eye-catching. I don't know if the camera conveys it. I try to get a look in my end screens that I show y'all, the reveals, to let you see what it actually looks like. But even so, in person, it's so different. Maybe because we're using a dark base underneath, but it's very rich and Victorian to me. I love the look of it. I don't expect everybody to like it. This isn't everybody's cup of tea. So just imagine how you could do this in your own way. So once we've got that aged copper nice and dried, then I'll go back over it with the bronze, which looks like a gold. To me, it looks sort of like a champagne gold. And I'm going to go over that. I'm not trying to completely cover up what I've already put down. I'm working around it in the spots that don't have it and then slightly overlapping it. So it just gives it, why do I want to say the word pizzazz? But to me, that's what it does. over and over. And this is just the paint. This is just the paint method, I guess, you know. Y'all, we still have places on the Crafty Cruise getaway. Y'all gotta come. Y'all got 1 year, you gotta come. You gotta come. Make plans. Come on. We want to see y'all. You got nothing better to do in February. Holidays are over. Come on. Load up. Let's go. Do you see what I mean now? Can you see the difference? You can still see the black. You can still see the beautiful copper underneath, and then you've got the gold, and then here's that little floating ornament, our little special ornament inside of the dome. Y'all have to excuse my camera lights. They are huge box lights, and I always get a reflection on anything that is glass or reflective like that. So, but you get the idea, though. Doesn't it look like it's magically floating? Sheet music statement ornament is next. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of my antiquing wax, of course. I have my little tool here that I will be cutting with, my miter shears. Some large craft sticks, 4. This is some vintage rickrack that is gold. This is just a piece of scrapbook paper in a kind of a textured goldish greenish color. I think it plays well with what we have going on our beautiful piece. I am not sure where I got this piece from, y'all. I think I got it from TEMU, and I say that because most of my stuff comes from TEMU. By the way, I am an affiliate with TEMU. If you don't want to use TEMU, you can probably find the same stuff on Amazon for a higher price. So if that's what you want to do, go over there and grab some. Just put in there vintage sheet music, and you ought to be able to find what you want. Okay, so I'm going to take one of those popsicle sticks and just use it to kind of make sure that these two pieces are married together and they don't peel off. This is going to make it a little more sturdy. So when you hang this on your Christmas tree or on your wall or wherever else, it has a little more substance to it so it doesn't kind of fly around in the breeze or catch the wind and fall off your tree. Might be a little harder for your cat to knock over, in other words. Okay. Whose cats get in the tree? Do y'all have naughty kitties that they get in the tree? Okay, I'm going to take a finger dauber instead of my brush that I showed y'all, and I'm going to use that to run that wax right over the edges. You can do it on the top and bottom too, but you won't need to because we're actually going to be making sort of a frame for that. So using my antique wax on a damp baby wipe. These are just water wipes that came from Target. I got them on a good deal, had a case of them, so I went ahead and got them. You don't need to do both sides, only one side. And we're going to go over the whole thing with this. It's going to dry quicker and look more like wood, a little more sheer. If you use the antiquing wax on a brush, full strength, it's going to take a long time to dry. And but it'll be a lot darker. So totally up to you. You don't have to paint them, or you can use different colors if you would like. So we're going to do all 4. Then I'm going to decide how wide I need these pieces to be. I know that I want them to extend over the edges on the top and bottom. So I'm looking here at where I want them to be. Feel free to measure if you would like. I'm going to put these in my miter shears. Just kind of pinch them and wiggle just a bit and they will snap right off. Just like that. And then I'll use one stick to measure the rest of them. And then I will cut all of those off. And you see how easy it is to use one as a template. Be sure these are dry or you'll be wiping off all the stuff you put on there. I'm going to go back over the edges now that they're cut and just add a little of that wax to it to make sure that it is nice and finished. Totally up to you if you want to do this in the opposite way. You could always cut them first and then color them. Doesn't matter as long as it's done. You can still see the grain in that. See, I like that. Okay, now when they are dry, we are going to add them to our beautiful sheet work. And I am going to put a little bit of glue on there and the first piece, so we'll just start on the bottom. I don't need to drag it all the way to the bottom because I want to show as much as I possibly can of my sheet music. It's such a pretty piece. All right, we're going to sandwich it right in between. So there's our bottom edge. You can see what it's going to look like. Then before we put the top on, we're going to go ahead and add our hanger, and then it will be sandwiched in as well. I'm using a little bit of that rickrack, and I did find that at the thrift store. I'm going to add a little bit of that. with a little hot glue, press it down, and then we can add that popsicle or craft stick right on top of it. I'm just going to put it on and then flip it over and add it on this side. Easy peasy, easy peasy. The magic word in this video today is going to be vintage. So I need you to put that in your comment and then tell me one thing vintage in your home that you just love to bits. This is going to get you entered in for a chance to win a box full of craft goodies from my channel. Today is Friday. Monday, I will be announcing the winner from this video. All right, now I'm going to be adding a little bit of trim all the way to this because we need a little extra bling at Christmas. Gonna doll it up a bit, richen it up, just add in some hot glue. You could do a glue stick here if you wanted. Gotta do it quick for y'all though, right? Gotta get these videos out for y'all. And by the way, I apologize for not being timely yesterday. I had kind of a rough day, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Anybody who says they don't have hard days and they need a mental health break is probably not being completely honest with you. I can't always be happy-go-lucky, joking, and all that. And yesterday was just a rough day, and I needed that time. So I appreciate your patience as I walked through that, and now I'm back. Okay? I'm thankful for you. Yes, I am. I'm thankful for you. All right. I hope you like this little piece. This is very beginner friendly. But I want you to make yours your own. It's very important. Here is the piece. Be sure that you subscribe to the channel and jump on board with us for November's giveaways. I thank you for stopping by today, and I'm leaving a video in this rectangle down here for you to watch next. Hit that circle if you want to subscribe. I'll see you soon. Bye.